All right, so how strongly do you agree with the statement, Idahoans recognize the state's historic properties through preservation and archaeological activities? Do you strongly agree, strongly disagree, or are you somewhere in the middle? Well, that's just one of the 26 questions on the State Historical Society's Preservation Plan Survey. And since the state has grown by about 250,000 people since the last time they did one of these surveys, well, they thought they'd get some new perspective on what you think the state already does or what it should do to keep historical sites intact for the future. So the question to you, Joe Paris, why is this planning part important?
Yes, so at this point in the process of creating a big historical plan, the Idaho State Historical Society is asking you, the public, for input on how to update the Idaho Historic Preservation Plan. So what is that complicated plan? Well, it's actually not that complicated. It outlines the priorities and goals for the historic preservation for communities throughout the state of Idaho. And there are a lot of great individual groups and people that do that work. But one key responsibility for the state level group is distributing funding to local government partners and other places for projects and trainings to preserve Idaho. But they also want the community to weigh in. Coming up this week, Dan Everhart explains why.
We need, not just want, we need Idahoans to participate in this process because it helps us better understand the interests and the activities that we want to program. So whether it's considering how best to allocate funding that we receive from the federal government or what sort of resources to document where folks are concerned, where we think as a community we're losing historic places, or maybe where we think those historic places are safer.
So, with all of that in mind, there's a special event coming up this Thursday, June 6th, from 5 to 6:30 at Tinner's Alley at the Avery Hotel. And it's a great location for a meeting, and it's a twofer because the historic Avery Hotel was recently renovated, and the Boise Landmark Hotel, it is worth checking out. So, in addition to the conversation about statewide work and really priorities that members of the community have, everyone is invited to take a sneak peek at a couple of the brand new hotel rooms there. It's crucial work, Brian, and I'm reminded by the Egyptian theater story where if a family in Idaho wasn't passionate about preserving something, it could have been wiped away. And I mean, it could just be a regular street corner now.
True, and it is, looking into some of this stuff over the years, I didn't realize until I did that just because it's designated as a historical spot doesn't mean it can't be just torn down and blown up, but it does help people realize this is something we need to keep.
So if there's something that's important to you and your family, or maybe you're just curious about learning about this, coming up on Thursday at the Avery Hotel.
All right, thanks, Joe.